You ever have one of those days where you show up just trying to mind your own business, do your job, and suddenly you become the storm you didn't see coming? That was me, Malcolm Green, CEO of Meridian Enterprises, boarding a flight to Atlanta, looking like any regular guy in khakis, blending in, no entourage, no announcement, just the faintest smile knowing I own the company that once left me out in the cold. Funny, right? One day, you're the guy on the sidewalk. The next, you're the one holding the keys, except no one's supposed to recognize you. Least of all, the folks you came to check up on. You see, I'd built Meridian from nothing, literally nothing, after sleeping on benches with an engineering degree that did nothing but gather dust. So I know what it's like to be overlooked, sized up, and dismissed before you even open your mouth. And that's exactly the kind of culture I kept hearing rumors about at our Atlanta office. Numbers looked good on paper, but complaints were piling up, customer satisfaction was tanking, and something smelled off. I needed to see it for myself, not the sanitized dog and pony show, but the real, unvarnished truth. That's why I didn't flash my title. Just a membership card at the VIP lounge, where Victoria, the flight attendant, in pearls and attitude, looked me up and down, decided I didn't belong, and told me, "Wait outside." No hint of apology, just pure, practiced dismissal, like she'd done 100 times. You ever notice how the smallest moments can say the most? She didn't know she'd just put herself, her fiancé, and her whole operation under a microscope. I kept my cool, stashed the memory away, and watched the clouds break over Atlanta as we landed, thinking how 25 years before I'd stood outside this same company, portfolio in hand, and been told to move along by a security guard. Now I own the place. Wild, right? But I didn't come for revenge. I came to change something broken, starting with the faces behind the numbers. At the Atlanta office, undercover as Michael Jordan. Yeah, my assistant Tasha couldn't resist the joke. I was just another consultant sent to poke around. The front desk woman, Barbara, had the smile of someone whose politeness was as automatic as a time clock. The regional manager, Philip Dona, greeted me with that executive handshake firm, just shy of a power move, while his eyes calculated whether I was useful or just another corporate nuisance. He introduced me to Isla Thompson, a sharp intern with that unmistakable look of someone used to doing twice the work for half the recognition. As I observed the office, I caught the little things, side glances, jokes that shut people out, voices that carried just enough for others to feel the sting. A marketing guy talked right over his Asian teammate's presentation. Account managers laughed behind their hands when a black colleague walked by. Not screaming discrimination, maybe, but death by 1,000 cuts, each one sharpening the divide. Lunch found Isla alone at her desk. When I sat down, she hesitated, guarded but honest. This internship was supposed to be my foot in the door. Supposed to be. I saw the fatigue, the doubt, something I knew in my bones. Then there was the twist. Victoria breezed in, kissed Philip on the cheek, all smiles as fiancé, making daily appearances, reinforcing the old boy network right there in public. I realized the rot ran deep, weaving through personal and professional lines so thick you couldn't tell where one ended and the other began. The more I watched, the more I saw. Luis, an older janitor, turned out to have been an engineer in Venezuela, 20 years experience, now emptying trash cans because his credentials weren't transferable. Jin, an IT intern, quietly handed me a flash drive with evidence that his contract and others like him, especially foreign-born, had been tampered with, their innovations stolen. Isla, brave as she was, showed me how customer surveys had been cherry-picked and corrected to hide plunging satisfaction scores. And then there was Dean Taylor, a black account manager terminated for performance issues despite having the best client retention. He came in, folder in hand, with the smoking emails full of dismissive, racially coded language, forwarded to clients who'd walked away for good. You want a twist? Turns out Philip was the son of the same security guard who turned me away a quarter-century before. Patterns don't happen by accident. It was a culture inherited, protected, weaponized. HR Chief Jocelyn, shrewd and tired, laid it all out: formal complaints, pay disparities, promotions denied, all properly filed and promptly buried. She'd done everything by the book. The book, of course, was designed so nothing would change. When I revealed who I was, she didn't flinch. "Are you here to fix things? Or just manage appearances?" she asked. That hit harder than any accusation. I realized it was time to do more than collect evidence. So I gathered the quiet resistors, Jin, a la Luis, others over dinner, dropped the disguise, and told them the truth. "If you had the power to fix Meridian, what would you do?" I listened. "Rebuild the culture from the ground up, value work over appearance. Give people a real, shot nothing fancy, just fairness." They didn't trust easily, but hope started flickering. Monday morning, the final act. I walked into the staff meeting not as Michael Jordan, but as Malcolm Green, see householders back, tie straight, ready to tear down and rebuild. Tasha, my assistant, brought in the legal team and security. Isla stood beside me, a new confidence lighting her up. Philip tried to bluster. Victoria tried to protest, but the truth was undeniable. Video evidence, HR reports, testimonials, the whole ugly mess projected for all to see. I announced immediate suspensions. Security escorted out Philip and Victoria, her bravado crumbling at the realization that her casual cruelty was now public record. To the staff, I said plainly, "Change starts today. If you've acted with integrity, you have nothing to fear. If you've enabled this mess, you get one chance to do better." Some were relieved, some stunned, some scared. That's how revolutions start. In the days that followed, the ripple effect was explosive. Word spread, other branches came forward, social media lit up. Not everyone liked the drumroll board members muttered about overreach and emotion, but I knew sometimes you need a sledgehammer, not scalpel. We rehired the wrongfully terminated, gave recognition to people like Luis and Jen, and put Isla on a path to real leadership not as a token, but as someone who could reshape everything from the inside. Victoria, after the viral fallout, ended up in a call center, struggling with empathy training. Philip tried to play the victim, but the evidence buried him in DA violations, fraud, the works. Some might say I was too hard, but I say, you get the culture you tolerate. 1 year on, Atlanta became the company's new model walls lined with local art, glass offices, open space, trust rebuilt one conversation at a time. Isla took over as regional VP. Luis launched a green energy initiative, and Jint's innovation lab became the seedbed for our next generation of talent. The old guard faded. The new order was diverse, honest, and fiercely loyal. I even started a foundation for workplace justice, giving back shares to fund the future. In the end, I visited the grave of my mother, Elaine Green, leaving behind the original Meridian pin. "We finally made it," I whispered, feeling the weight of every door that had ever been closed. Maybe it wasn't victory not yet, but it was real progress. And as I walked away, a little boy at the airport pointed at the TV, remembering the day a nobody was told to wait outside, not knowing he was a somebody all along. So here's my question to you. What's the price of turning a blind eye? And what does it take to see yourself, your workplace, your community, honestly, scars and all? If you've ever been told you don't belong or you're not enough, maybe this story is your reminder. Sometimes you have to become the change you're waiting for. Drop your thoughts below. Where do you draw the line between justice and mercy? And what would you risk to make things right? Let's talk about it.